Hello, Sandrine. Hello, baby. How are you? Thank you for coming by. Happy hump day. Really? Hold that thought. Let me mute that phone. Thank you. I have muted six numbers, and they still find another number that I have not blocked, and the phone rings. And what's really frustrating is so many unavailable numbers that we now have to dial the area code where we live in order to get through because they said numbers to go around. If you block some of those unavailable numbers, you could have enough numbers to go around. I'm just saying. So what have you been up to this week? I was going to go see family for Thanksgiving, and their plans changed, so I'm staying. But as I was getting ready to pack, and I'm looking at all of the safety measures on the plane, they no longer leave that middle vacant. They put three people in a seat now, and I'm sitting there thinking, do I really want to be that close to people? So, since I'm like a good little puppy and I've had all my shots and I got my flu shot, I said, well, if I want to, maybe I should start going around and building up my immunity little by little because I've been in the house for 2 years. So last night, first time in 2 years, I went to dance class. There aren't too many places I do not hurt today. Mind you, it wasn't a strict class, so you could do the ones you wanted, ones that you didn't want to do. You could pick and choose. So I really paced myself because I did not want to be broke down. But where we used to a wooden floor, well, actually it had carpeting, which wasn't good, but where we used to go at night had a wooden floor. And it's really easy to play. The place where we were last night has a cement floor. Whoa. But I'm glad I got to see people I hadn't seen in a long time. I got to hear music that I hadn't heard in a long time. My feet actually remembered a couple of the dances that my I don't know what that is. And they're like, you know what this is. And I'm like, I don't know what this is. And I got up on the floor and my feet remembered. And I'm like, so I'm going to try it again next week. It'll take me a week to get back together to go. Mama J, how are you. Thanks for coming by. And Sheila is here. Oh, thank you for the thumbs up, Sheila. And Lauren. Lauren, I have been following you day to day. I am so sorry about your ankle. You know what? You do what you can. I just appreciate you being here. Little Miss may take a nap now. Lisa, thank you. I appreciate you being here. And I've got a sweater on over my t-shirt because I get warm, I get cold. So putting and putting on, I feel like the hokey pokey. You put the sweater on, you take the sweater off, you put the sweater on, and you shake it all about. You know, that's what we're doing today. So, Vivian, thank you for coming by. I appreciate each and every one of you. And thank you, she appreciate the thumbs up. Um, what is everybody's weather like? They said, well, when I looked earlier, it was 60 degrees, and it was until I went to Jeanette's live, and then it sounded like somebody was doing construction. And I finally went outside to see what was going on. I was thinking about asking them to be quiet, but by the time I decided to go out, they were through. Oh, it's 66. But I stayed outside because it was 66. I brought in some things from the deck and put them in the garage and went out and got the mail and came back. And then I had to close the windows so you all didn't get blasted by all the noise going around today. But it does look like it is going to rain. And they said it's going to be 52 tonight, which is good because we had frost last week. I can't believe it. Vivian, you have 70. Where are you again? I may have to come visit. And I made my tea. I had one of those little electric infusion teapots. And I have only had it for a year. Let's see, it was a year in April. So it's not even a year and a half, and it doesn't heat any longer. But I still have all the infusion inserts and everything. I boiled water on the stove as we used to do. Got my soup ladle and ladled the boiling water in the teapot, and I made some apple cinnamon tea. I had an apple for my oatmeal this morning, and I put the apple core and a cinnamon tea bag in the infuser, and I am loving it. Oh, yes. I love it. I love it. I love it. Sheila is in Savannah. Okay, Sheila, you and Sabrina and Angie are in Savannah. Lisa is in Illinois. Lisa, are you in Chicago too with Jeanette and Lisa Darling and Hook Crochet? Sandy, are you up there with them? And Holly said, that's right, you're in Mississippi. It's 70 in Mississippi? Ooh. And that's Marshall County, right? Because I asked you about that last week. Oh, Lord, Sade is right. I didn't know that because I just subscribed to Sade. So I'm sorry, Sade. Um, so I am still weaving in ends on this Alpine Scarf. And since I was weaving in ends while I was live and I was weaving in ends on the back side, it occurred to me to look at the front side and my black crosses over the yellow. And I sat and looked at that today and I am not going to take out all of those black ends. We're just going to call that part of the pattern. And I'm going to tell anybody who asks that I did that. Because I was like, are you kidding me? But then it's not like that on this side. But then, of course, since I was chatting sometimes when I was doing it, not all of my edges are exactly the same, but I can fix that when I block it because I crochet. So after I wash it and block it, that will loosen up and I will be able to correct the one edge. But this edge with the crossover, it's like, it's an asymmetrical scarf. This is how we do it these days. That's not silly, and I'm sticking to it. Jet, hi, thank you so much for coming by. Girl, I enjoyed your chat today. And I'm going to have to make notes because 300 down the road, I'm not going to remember what you said about a community tab. But then by the time I get a community tab, the rules will have changed again. It really doesn't matter. But thank you for being here. Manda, hi, thank you. And you get to see that grandbaby. Hey, awesome. Now that is a Thanksgiving present. So it is WIP It Wednesday. What does everybody have? And what whips would everybody like to show? Because in this Whipville, and we're not going to talk about any of these mounts with more. I only have the whips that I am currently, and I'm going to try not to start anything new until I finish all of my whips. But we know how that works, right? Yeah, I know because it's the holidays, and people are coming up with crochet alongs for the holidays. They know we're trying to get presents done. We're trying to get freed up. We're trying to go travel and give us a pretty pattern to crochet, and we're not going to do anything but crochet. Except for Miss Bevy, who's going to sit there in between crocheting and then you have Mama J-Way, who's going to pull out her knitting needles and all of her looms and do all kinds of wizard things. And go to school on top of it. See, and I'm going to use this one on this. This is comfortable. And yes, I might go by and all of you wonderful people are saying hi to everybody. And I am so grateful that you all are speaking to each other. This is such a great group of people. And Lisa from Lily's Crochet and More says, I currently don't have any whips. I'm sorry, what? You have no, but I have finished objects. Well, girl, you got to come back Friday and show your finished objects, please. You have finished every. I am so impressed. Well, really, thank you for coming by. My goodness. Oh, Zoila, hi, Zoila, hi, thank you for coming by. And I clicked on you, but of course my never-ending chat, well, not never-ending, but my chat jumped and but Zoila saying hi to everybody in the chat. And Jeanette says, I'm working another mug rug. And it's, girl, I saw your mug rug. I saw your video and I gave you a thumbs up, although I didn't say anything because I had nothing to say. I'm sitting here looking at your mug rugs and I'm looking at your tassels here going, my grandbaby would just sit there and shake it back and forth. And then you came out with the coasters and I was like, I'm done. Score. Mine says I have some finished objects that I have to sew in my ends. This is the reason why I try to crochet over my ends. Because this is painful. And I'm looking for these mosaics.
And up with the bright idea of the double border to put a border over and sandwich the ends so you don't have to sew them in. Because back in the day, you have to pull all of those out and hold them down and cut it and make it an even fringe. Do you know how much yarn you waste making fringe and pom? I'd rather use that yarn for something else. By the time I get through making a pom pom, it's this big. I do not do pom poms. Hi to everybody. And Sheila's working on a C to C Afghan again. Because when I clicked on that, I saw C to C, and I was like, I thought you to C. You're making another one, girl. Somebody, and I think it's Bag O Day, has a C to C and hat combo that I want to do. Didn't I just say I wasn't going to start anything new? But I have not done a C to C yet, and I want to do it. Yeah. Molly Grub. I think that's autocorrect at its worst. See, I said it was autocorrect because I knew that's not what you meant. I'm not going to tell you my last name because of privacy things, but my last name is different. And every time I type it, the phone corrects it. And I go, don't correct my name. I know what my name is. This is the way it is spelled. And it took several upgrades. Finally said, do you want to add this name to your dictionary? And I was like, yes, because this is the way it's spelled. Mm. Oh, Zoila, it is not as difficult as it looks. Start out with something small like a mug rug. I made 4 mug rugs for my mother-in-law, and they were fun. By the time I finished them, then I went on to a placemat. So start small and work your way. Granny, thank you so much for coming by. How are you? What kind of tea are you drinking, and which whip are you whipping? Are you whipping on? Which whip are you working on today? Mom says Jeanette's mug rugs were cute. Yes, they were. Sandrine says, I have so many seeds. Wait a minute. Hold it. I lost the chat. Hold on. My chat jumped. I'm reading. There are leaves falling on my deck, and I don't have a tree in my yard. I like trees. I don't like leaves, and I don't like breaking other people's leaves. Their leaves should fall on their side of the fence. I'm just saying. Um, have you, Sandrine? Well, Sandrine, you've done the C to C and the baby dresses and the hats and the mosaics, and now you're designing mosaics. You go great, but you don't have your own channel now. See, we talked about this last week. You have what it takes. You think that's saying hi to Granny D. Everybody's saying hi to Granny D. We love you, Granny. We really do. And Granny saying hi to everybody. Zoila says, I totally agree. Why waste so much yarn when creating mosaic patterns, mug rugs? You're very welcome. Yeah, I don't, if it's a piece of scrap yarn you don't have any need for is one thing, but arms and fringes have always irked me. I'm like, I'm wasting my yarn. I could use this yarn for something else. Zoila Sandrine said to inbox her and she can help you. Sandrine, does the number or your Facebook page because you don't have a channel, girlfriend. How are people supposed to get in touch with you? I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Oh, I'm trying to put my project back in my project bag because I'm trying to be more organized and keep things together. See how long that lasts. I am trying. Lauren says I was working on a blanket, but losing the will and debating if there's enough. Might decide tomorrow. I understand. I understand. I have two blankets I am working on borders for because it's part of the pattern and I like the pattern. Normally, I don't put borders. I pick a pattern that is sufficient in itself. I don't do borders. And so I was saying hi. And Granny saving my tea for after a while and knitting with this crazy yarn I got from Lion Brand. I'll be showing again today. Okay, Granny. Because I got to have my daily dose of fiber. And Zoila says, thanks for saying dream. Monza says hi to LJ. And Granny says she loves all of us back and big squishy Granny hugs. Thank you, Granny, for the squishy hug. Okay. Sandrine says on Messenger. You know, I like Messenger. Well, you know what? For the longest time, Messenger, because I was never on Facebook. And my daughter actually started my Facebook account. Says you can't keep track of what's going on if you're not on Facebook. I said, then I'm not going to keep track of what's going on because I don't have time to do that. And then my sister-in-law and asked me, was I coming to her daughter's wedding because I never responded to the message she sent her. And I said, well, I don't have Messenger. And she said, well, you need to get it because you don't know what's going on for the wedding. And I was like, well, that is something with. So I got Messenger so I could keep up with the family. Really? And I only started paying Facebook because my little cousins were posting funeral notices on Facebook, and instead of texting, and it's like, okay, I'm never on Facebook. You've got to text me. And they said, cousin, there's too many of us. We're putting it on Facebook. You're going to have to keep up. I need a secretary just to keep up with social media. And everybody says, well, if you want to get your crochet out, you have to start an Instagram account. I'm sorry. I'm still trying to take pictures to put in my catalog on Facebook. And you want me to do Instagram? What am I supposed to do? I'm just saying, I only got two hands. I'm working my hook and my yarn. When am I supposed to work the Facebook and the Instagram and the YouTube? And Lord help me, what about the email? I'm just asking. I got 13 hours in the day. How does this work? I need pointers. Thank you, Sandrine. Thank you, love everybody. Zoila says, I don't have Instagram, but I did start Facebook. I started Facebook, and last week have started making a conscious effort to post these lives over to my Facebook. Because if I tried to do the simulcast with YouTube and Facebook, StreamYard wants access to your contact. And I was like, no. You don't need to know who my contacts are. You don't need to bother my contacts. And I don't want this on my news feed. I want this on my business page. I just put it up there myself and call it a day. I am trying to work smarter and not harder, and I haven't gotten there yet. But I'm trying. Thank you. Thank you. Because, this is supposed to be fun, and it's supposed to bring in a little extra money. It should not replace a 9-to-5 job with angst and stress. If it weren't for social distancing, I could go back to work and make a whole lot more money. I'd rather stay home and be safe and do this for fun. This way. There we go. I'm cockeyed, Pete. This way. Okay, thank you. I do know how to dress. Okay. No, this way. I am going to still call this a WIP. This is Linda Simpson's Pewter Cowl. And that is only because I have not measured it yet. When I learned to crochet, all the patterns told you how many rows to make. Now everybody measures everything and they tell you how to make it. Well, I have to sit down with my ruler and measure this and make sure it's the size I need it to be before I sew it together. And if it is, then I am finished with Linda's cowl. And I did not do any color control. This is how this yarn works out. And I'm kind of surprised that it cools like this. It's almost like self-striping. I finally, and poor Linda, because I had to text her a couple of times to ask her questions about the pattern, because I just couldn't get it to work out in my head. But after it's around and straight, I love the stitch pattern. She did a good job. Yes, Mama J. Mama J says, say it again, VJ. It is not supposed to be a job. No. It is not supposed to be stressful. It's supposed to be fun. Crochet is supposed to be relaxing. The parts are supposed to be relaxing. Yes, some of us take on commission work because there's no point in making a whole bunch sitting around your house. We create these things for the beauty of the things, and hopefully somebody will want to buy them. If they commission it, then you something somebody wants to buy. And you enjoy the process of making it and the beauty of taking a strand of yarn and coming out with a finished object that you created from your own two hands and the gift you will. Plus a good pattern, unless you're like a lot of these lovely YouTubers and can just look at something and make it. I've never been the one. I applaud all of you who can, and I apologize for the plastic crinkling. But this is supposed to be fun. We're supposed to be enjoying this with time. And I have been learning so much. Stephanie, hi. Thank you so much for coming by. What is your weather like and what is you working on? Oh, Zoila, thank you so much. Katrina, hi. Thank you so much for coming by. And I know you're working. I saw you in Jeanette. Yes, please let us know how many hats you need. Chiquita, thank you so much. I appreciate that. I was surprised how it turned out. I am really enjoying it, and I did no color control. And everything, hi. Lashira, hi. Thank you for coming by. Everybody, what are you working on? Hubby is playing, but I think he's enjoying it more than the 3-year-old. Excellent, Lauren. Now you can relax and chit chat for a little bit. Zoila says, me too. I have learned your videos are so. Zoila, thank you. I appreciate that. I really do. I had learned to crochet when I was, and I stopped crocheting around 1999 because I started dating, and then I moved, and then I married. My late husband got me into genealogy. So then I started doing genealogy. And in 19, I was diagnosed with health issues and had to start treatments in 20. So I'm sitting still. And it's like, okay, I got to do something. I can't just sit here. And I started crocheting again. And I joined a couple of crocheting groups on Facebook, and they kept putting up all these what they've made and hot off the hooks. And I'm asking for patterns, so they're posting things I've never seen before. They're referring back to YouTube videos and places on the web and all that. Well, I know the net changes, so I'm copying and printing every so that I don't lose it. And then I decided to share because I've got a notebook full of things that I've printed off. And as I say in most of my texts, have you ever been to a live and somebody has asked? And usually somebody has asked something, and I've got the resource here in my notes. So I'm just sharing resources that I've gathered over the last year because, since 1972 when I started crocheting, things have really changed. Fibers have changed. Fibers have come and gone. Colorways have changed. It's a whole new ball game here. I'm loving it. I'm loving it. And you know what? And everybody complains about the world being on lock. They can't go. They can't see. They can't do. I'm sitting here at home safe, and I am learning so much about it. I've got people here. Lashira is across the pond. Ursula's in South Africa. Mel in Trinidad. I am having the best time. And Granny's in North Carolina. Pick her brain one of these nights because, hey, Granny may know someone. Lauren's in the UK. I mean, I am having the time of my life. Yes, Chiquita, that is, girl, that is from my stash. It is, excuse me. It is yarn they probably don't even make anymore. It is Windtuck hand knitting yarn, super value. It was $1, so you know how old it was. And it is called Silver Cloud by Prestige. It is DuPont Roll-On acrylic. Shrink resistant and moth proof. And it fits, but Red Horn has one paper that is a similar color, but this is the Windtuck yarn. I inherited a lot of yarn from my mother and grandmother, and then I've been to 2 estate sales, so I've got a lot of old yarn, but acrylic yarn doesn't go bad once you let it sit in water. So I'm having fun. It's cold and rainy, and I'm crocheting baby baby. Ooh, what color is Stephanie? Lisa saying hi to Katrina. She's saying hi. Is it white? Yes. My favorite colors. Black, gray, and white. And it has a nice short color change, but it works up pretty. I've got a couple of different brands in this color because I like black, gray, and white. Somebody needs to come out with a black, gray, white, and red. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Sandrine, what are the roll tide colors? Or is it gray, black, and red? Everybody's saying hi, and I could look it up, or why should I when I have Sandrine here? I'm so glad I did choose to love crochet. Oh, bless you, Zora. I am still learning because the stitches have changed. There's some new stitches out. The herringbone stitch and the extended and all those extended stitches are new stitches. We didn't learn those back in the day. Lily, you know what? You're back and I'm gone. Okay, tech talk now. Going heavy stuff into headbanging. Okay. Well, she'll sleep good tonight if she's headbanging. I'm just saying. It's cloudy and no crocheting today. Why are you not crocheting? Oh, because you finished your things and you have finished out this. Well, you have to start another one, Lashira. What are you going to start? I am going to keep the live running. Bless you, Katrina. I appreciate that. I really, really, really do. Going to leave you playing while I sort things out. Okay, Lauren, but you know what? You can let Dad sort it out. You might be sorry, but you can let Dad sort it out. Thank you, Lashira. I appreciate it. I do. You were here, excuse me, last week when I was showing the yarn that I thought I was going to use for the Flower Valley shawl, J-hook crochet shawl, and Jack suggested that I get a 3-weight yarn because that's what Reggie was suggesting. So I got a mandala 3-weight, and the pattern calls for a 3 hook. Well, I started the shawl and it was too stiff for me. I saw Nana Michelle in Alive. I asked her what size hook she used because she's on her second Flower Valley shawl. And she says that she always a hook, one hook size larger than is recommended on the ball band. She doesn't worry about what the pattern says. Well, me, not having made the pattern before, knowing if I use a larger hook, I'm going to have a larger item, I decided to go with the size hook that was on the ball band. So I found the shawl, and Diane says that it's a number 3, and they are recommending a size H hook. So I'm using a hook for this, even though, and you can't see that because I can't see it, and I'm sitting here looking at it. So this is where I am for on the repeat. I had to tell you. So that's the shawl. I'm not going to add beads to it because I don't know what the sucker is going to look like anyway. So I'm going to make it first and see what it looks like. And doing a mild color control because I want the colors to change on the edge and not in the middle. Now on this edge, it changes right here at the last stitch, and I decided to let that one go because it doesn't look bad. It said that's really one stitch, and then it goes that way. So I said that was okay. But the other ones, I made sure that I ended them at the end of the row, then went ahead with the next color. I'm not controlling the colors that are in the cake. I'm using the colors as they come. I'm just not letting the color change in the middle of the row. That's the only changes I'm making. If I'm in the middle of the row and I realize that the change, yes, I go back to the beginning of the row and changed it because in my mind, I was taught to crochet by my grandmother and change colors at the end of the row. So cakes, when I see the colors change in the middle, why did I change in the middle of the? It's a cake. But I can't do that. I can hear my grandmother's voice going, oh no, you can't do that. There's a difference between handmade and homemade. And you want your items to be homemade. You don't want your items to be handmade. You don't want your items to look homemade. I never change it. I hear my granny's voice. No, you can't. You have to take pride in your work. And back in the day, we didn't have cakes. We had berry cakes. Ombres, which were a little bit different. But, yeah, it just does not work in my brain. It's a knee-jerk thing. It's me. And I know color control. And I see how it changes in the middle. But the first thing that comes to my mind is, oh, I can't do it. It's just me. Okay. You know what? I didn't want to try mandalas for this reason. The changes in the middle or wherever, and I didn't see the point in cutting and weaving in ends and all that. But this is my first mandala. This is my first time doing the Flower Valley shawl. This is first on a lot of, and I'm learning. Daphne, hi, thank you for coming by. What WIP are you working on, and what is your weather like? Thank you, Chiquita. And you know what? When I found out that I went to I looked online at Michael's, and their mandalas were $9.99, even with buy one get off. So I looked on Walmart. They had these for $5. Now I wouldn't have picked this color, but this is about the only one that could tolerate. And for $5, I bought it. So I got what was it, 11 something mandalas, where at Michael's it would have been, one was $9.99 and the other one would have been like $4, $18. Yeah. Yes, thank you, though. And they had one that was, they had a color, the metallic thread going through it, but they were like rainbow or unicorn colors, and I wasn't feeling that for a winter shawl. It would have been different if I was making this in the spring, but I wasn't feeling the colors. And my granddaughter was walking like, what do you think about these? And she said, it's okay. I said, well, do you have anything else here that you like better? She's like, well, I like this one, this one, this Okay, fine, we're getting this. Because usually if she loves something, she's like, oh, yes, but she wasn't feeling it either. Brianna, hi, how are you? What are you working on today? To reach the bag because this is going back in its bag with the. And has anybody seen the Flower Valley Shawl? I know Nana is a couple, but if you haven't been on the lives where she is, or has been, or have seen Jay, I have a big picture here. Seen Jay Hook crochet. This is what it looks like. This is what I'm going to make. And for whatever reason, I wasn't feeling the baby rainbow. We'll see. So I had I got a notification yesterday. Tamara from Moogly has started a new crochet along. And it's another shawl. I don't think I'm going to make another shawl. That would be 3 shawls in a row. And I want to do something different. I usually pick my projects by I can't say who's doing it. I pick the project, what it is, and if it's something that I want to do, or if it's something that I've been wanting to learn to do, and if I have the yarn for it. Normally, I don't because I inherited so much yarn, and I've been to 2 estate sales, so I've got a lot of yarn to use. So I don't usually pick a project where I have to go out and buy yarn, but I have been wanting to do the Flower Valley Shawl, so I went and bought yarn. Well, Moogly came out with the shawl crochet along. I don't know if I know shawl yarn, not do another shawl. I want to do something else. So I finally got the booty pattern written up for the booty bra that the baby dress Kelly and I were doing. So I want to do the booties first. And I got to finish the Alpine Scarf. I want to do a hat for the scarf. So there are other things I want to do besides another shawl. So I don't think I'm going to do that crochet. Everybody is doing. Thank you, Zoila. I appreciate that. Thank you, Sabrina. Sabrina says, don't forget the thumbs up. And Zoila says, that makes sense. You know, there have been some things that people have been doing, and it's like, ooh, I've been wanting to learn how to do that. And so I joined the Make Along because you have people there to help you if you run into problems. Thank you, Mama J. I appreciate it. Hey, you never told me. What are you working on today? And I've been chattering, and you all have just been so gracious and welcoming each other. But, let's see. The only one I remember is Sheila's working on a seed to seed. For anybody else telling me what they were working on. Lauren has a blanket that's in a timeout. She can't decide what she's going to do with it. Doyle wants to learn mosaic. And Sandrine, she was doing a lot of, I know Sandrine's working on mosaic, and she's done a lot of C2Cs. And let's see, Lily has finished everything. Oh my goodness. Yeah. I need to take pictures. And Stephanie is doing baby booties. Thank you. I have to do my booties to go with my dress and finish my bonnet. The dress. We started at the pajama party. The bonnet, except for the ribbons, because I don't know if it's going to be ribbons or if I'm going to have enough yarn left over. Because this one I have left over, and I want to do booties. So I have got to do the booties so I can finish this unsewn. And I'm tempted, and see, then I just said I didn't want to buy any more yarn, but I'm tempted, oh my gosh, I'm tempted to throw these people out the window. I'm tempted to buy some pink yarn to make a V-stitch blanket to go with the dress and the booties. Not sure if I feel it, but I'm tempted. Oh, no worries, no worries. Your mother is lucky to have confirmed her appointment. Oh, thank you. Zoila, I saw that my chat jumped. This is the V stitch. A double crochet, chain 2, double crochet. Double crochet, I think that's the chain 1. And then the bonnet is also I think it started out and made it a V-stitch so that it would match the dress. And saying hi to everybody. You are knitting a blanket from Amy's new clothes. Really? What color, Chiquita? You're welcome, Zoila. And Mama J is still working on the virus shawl with the 2 strands on. There's one downstairs. I've never thought about holding the 2 strands together because I like working with one strand. I don't have to do that. Lauren says, I don't think it helps with my blanket that I accidentally DC direction. Let's see. English terminology pattern that wasn't paying attention. It's made the border larger by different. Oh, yeah. I had an English pattern, and I don't remember when I went through the pattern and crossed out all of the English terminology and put in U.S. terms just so I wouldn't do that because I knew I wouldn't remember it. So I just went through and edited the whole pattern before I started. Save mine. I heard of what I know we did loom knitting on Kelly's Crochet Adventures. 2 strands of yarn on the loom. And that is really the only time I have ever used 2 strands of yarn together. I started out using crochet thread and 4-ply. So 4-ply I am comfortable with. Bulky animals. I don't care for that. And let's and I had worked on for the round so far, so I don't want to. Fine, don't find it. The only person who knows that the border is not correct is you. So if it looks fine, and you've got enough to go. It's gray and white. Ooh, Chiquita. I know that's pretty. I've never seen it blank. I want to go over on Annie's new club. I haven't my kids broke me from knitting because they used to pull the needles out of my knitting, and I would come back from the bathroom and they'd be standing there school fighting. I had to work back on the needles, and Murphy's Law, it didn't matter how careful I would put each stitch on the needle backwards, turn each stitch before I could work it. And the next time I went to the bathroom, they did the same thing. So I had not knitted anything until now, when Linda Simpson and Gina from Knitting Turnpike started hosting the Turnpike Knit Along, and they were doing the Ashton Shawlette. So this was my first knitting invention 35 years. And I am quite pleased with it. And I'm sure I have some stitches in the wrong spot and what's going on that should not be going on. And I probably should have started with a dishcloth. I jumped in with both feet and picked up a shawl. But I had some written patterns, thanks to Gina. I had tutorials, Gina and Linda, and anytime we ran into problems and asked questions, they were really, really good about answering questions. So it was okay, I can do this. And I can't even tell you how many times I restarted this first part because stitches, I lost whatever, but I kept going. And I have learned that when we're doing live chats like this, it's not knit. It does not matter how careful I am during a chat, I mess up. One night, when I got my work looked beautiful, and when I went to put it in the bag, I had gotten my side confused, and I had 6 rows of the pattern on the wrong side. So I had to crawl 6 rows and stitches on the needle. And with this being late, we had a lot of yarn overs. Some of the yarn overs got burned and picked them back up and just but I just kept going, and I did not worry about pretty yarn or beads or anything. This is just getting my feet wet and getting back into knitting. And the next one will be pretty. This one I'm relearning, and I have never done knitting before. I never finished anything knitting before because I knew how to knit, I knew how to sew, and that was the sole extent of it. So this has been knitting 101. But I stuck with it, and I'm almost finished. I've got, I think, 3 more patterns on chart 3, and then I get to start chart 4. So I'm about 2 weeks behind. And then I now can blossom. And this will move from my WIP pile to my finished object pile. And I probably done if I could have done this during live. The only thing that I can do with knitting in a live is mess up. You're behind. What is the joke? I started it. I'm still working on it. I haven't given up. And it may even look like a shawl when I get through. There's hope. There's hope it will look like a shawl. Or something. I don't know. Oh, gee. Myself. Okay, Gorilla says, I struggle with the knitting of the needles. You know what? When Linda did her tutorial, I got all this from Bobby Lane because Linda holds her needles like this. I can't do that. I hold my needles like this. This is the way I do a pencil grip on my crochet hook. Knife grip on my crochet hook, and I do a knife grip on. Now I can hold my crochet hook pencil grip, and I can't do anything with it. My hands, my fingers, I can't yarn over or do anything with a pencil grip. I agree. I mess up on my check too. Yeah, see, I usually have to rewind so I can pause and reply. I would love to do that, but I watch so many that if I'm not there for the live, they don't get watched. Because they're live. There are so many people out there, and it's kind of like I go to the YouTube front page and it's on live, and it depends upon who's live. I'll click through and see what they're talking about, and that's how I decide who to watch. And by the time they're over, somebody else is on, so it's kind of like, there's no replay in my life. Which way do you hold them, Joya? I hold mine in pearl. I think it's easier than continental. Lauren, I saw on Linda Simpson's page somebody was with a pearl. They were purling continental style, and it was fascinating. And I wanted to try it, but I couldn't knit that way. So I was like, I think I could knit English and pearl continental. He doesn't need to do all that flipping. My hands and my brain, there's a disconnect. So I can see it in I can see it. My head understands, but my hands won't do it. So I have to do what my hands do. That's all I can say. Because my grandmother was so frustrated with me when she was teaching, because she was teaching me pencil grip, and I couldn't make it work. And so I went and taught myself to crochet night. When she got into her 80s and her arthritis got really bad, she was laughing because she says, okay, now I can hold my crochet hook the way you better. Because she could not pencil grip in her 80s, but she could knife grip. I did it again when she was high. And RJ, I didn't know there were different styles. Yes. Thank you for the suggestions. I'll look into that. Yes. One you hold your needles like this. The other ones you hold your needles like this. And the continental, your yarn is in your left. English, your yarn is in your right hand. And I had thought I held my yarn in my left hand, like I said, 35 years. And when I started Linda Simpson's tutorial and I had my yarn in my left hand because that's the way I crochet, it wasn't comfortable. I switched it to my right hand. and then I can make it work. I can't explain it. I can't. And I see Hebrews, when they hold their yarn, they just pinch it between their two fingers. Do that, because the one thing my grandmother did teach me that I have to do is wrap it around my pinky and over my ring finger, under my finger, and over my little finger, over my index finger, and that's how I control my tension. So that's my tension hand and the knife grip. And I had thought I did the same thing with my knitting. And I may have back in the day, but it doesn't work that good in my right hand. And I had found my first knitting book for my granddaughter because she wanted to learn to knit. And when I pulled up the page to position the yarn and position your hand, it was in the right hand. So my knitting book taught English. So I says, yes, I wrap the yarn around my attention. And then I've seen a couple of people, and I think TL Yarn Crafts is one as well. I think TL and Hanson, however they have their end, they wrap the yarn around their index finger, and as they crochet, they unloop that loop of yarn. Ooh, that's different. Works for them. It works for them. Okay, we have, I showed you the Flower Valley Shawl, the Ashton Shawlette, and if anybody's interested, that the end is still going on. Oh, and this was my first time working with circular needles. This is in my box of yarn that I got at Six. So I got a box. I got a lot of DK weight yarn and a whole set of circular needles. So it was a win-win. And my stitch markers were also in that box. So I had to do that. I had all of the equipment. I just did not have the knowledge. What was in there? Oh, bless you, Lily. Thank you so very much. I appreciate it. And Lauren says, I think knitting, crochet in general is do whatever feels comfortable and allows for even stitches. Exactly, Lauren. Exactly. Because it was like historically, everybody had to be right-handed. You were left-handed, you got spanked with the rule and made to use your right hand. When you crochet, you had to do the pencil grip because that was the correct way to hold the hook. Now it's as long as your tension and your gauge and your finished object are correct, you hold your equipment the way it's comfortable. Yes. Joella says, yes, I wrap the yarn around my finger to control the tension. See? Yeah, there's different styles, different ways we were taught, and different ways that are comfortable. And nowadays, more forgiving, it doesn't matter. It's the finished object. And like I said earlier, it's having fun. You're stressing over how it's not fun. And a lot of people say that you crochet faster if you pencil grip. Well, I'm not going to be a faster crocheter because that hook, if I pencil grip, it's not going to happen. have circular needles on how to use them yet. Zoila, you use them the same way that you use the straight needles. It's just that when you get to the end, you do needles, you just turn the whole thing around, and you don't have to worry so much about it falling off your hook because it's it stays on the needle and a bigger object because it stays on the because you can get longer needles, so you can make a larger object. Back when I introduced to circular needles, the draw was that you could make a sweater all in one circular piece, and you didn't have to seam it up. And I was like, ooh, that's for me because I hate stitching. I've not done that yet. After I get these flat pieces mastered, I want to knit a sweater and knit it in the round so that I don't have to do the seam. And then you're supposed to be able to, do the sleeves. And the only thing that you have to seam is the sleeves and do the band around the neck. We will see. That was back in '70 when I was watching Knit Crochet Today. That was a long time ago. Lauren says, sounds like you're doing the continental style, Zoila. I still can't figure that out properly. I've seen it, love it. Lauren says, thanks. Says, I think you have to be. I haven't sussed it. I haven't either. I haven't either because I can't. If the yarn is in my left hand, I can't get it around with my right. I don't know. Oh, Granny D just came on. Do I have? I don't have a mom here today. Oh Lord. Hold on, let me see. Let me get through the chat, and then I will get the link, and we can do a DJ raid at Granny D. I will be with you till you love me, from VJ Smiling. Oh, bless you, Sheila. Thank you so very much. I appreciate it. I didn't even drop the link today so everybody could come up and do that. Somebody needs to help me. Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at this time, Sheila. Yep, that's Granny. She has live at 5 tea with Granny D. Now, originally when I started this, I know that Granny D had live at 5. We all would go see Gigi the Crochet Queen at this time. And so since I was new, I put mine in between DIY Creations and Gigi the Crochet Queen so I could have that in between the two of them. And hopefully if people were at Jeanette, they would come see me before they went to Gigi. Well, now Gigi live on Wednesday, but we have Granny D, whom we have all come to, we have all grown to become in love. More, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I am a crocheter, but just picked up knitting. Okay. I do it continental style. I also just saw a video on using the magic loop or circle. It's very interesting. Here for the magic loop because I used it on a bath piece. And I wash and block everything before it leaves the house. And I will clean, and it's blocked so it'll hold its shape. And that magic, the cotton was so heavy, that magic ring came loose. So I chain 2, and I put everything in that first chain because I know it's not going to come loose. But that's just me. I have people with the magic ring, but I also have a friend who made a granny square blanket for her grandchild and 5 of her magic rings. And she had to mend those granny squares that were already in that blanket. I was like, no, not going to do that. And what is it with small children and bone assessment? Because they have feelings down there that they don't know. Margaret, right, her magic ring videos is really good. I'll be making them like that from now on. Okay, good. And that's one of the beauties of YouTube. Everybody does the same thing differently. You pick the one that works because not everything works for everybody. And that's okay. As long as you're happy with your finish, that's the important thing. You've got to be happy with what you are producing. If you're not happy, it's not working. If it's not working for you, don't do it. Find something that works the way you want to work or makes sense in your head. I want to do the continental stitch. My hands don't work that way, so I have to do English. I'm okay with it because in the end, I get to knit. I'm learning to knit again. I'm loving it. And Margaret says hi. And Margaret, so much for joining. Okay, you know what? I can do this. Okay. Let me, let me get Granny B's link. I will put it in the chat. And we can do a raid at Granny D so we can get our daily dose of fiber. Because Granny D has some very interesting, she really does. And
women are bad with money.
Hold on,
That's what the world's been saying for centuries.
No.
But now we've got something to say.
Everybody coming by. You could have spent the last hour anywhere on YouTube, and you chose to spend it with me. And I do not take that lightly. I really appreciate it, and I love each and every one of you. There are a lot here. There are a lot of crafters doing the same thing, but each one of us do it just a little bit differently. One that works for you. Please like, share, comment. I will be going live again on for Finished Objects Friday. Please come by with your finished objects to share. If I forget to drop the link again, somebody please remind me. I won't think you're pushy, but I get busy reading the chat and talking, and it makes all the difference. I would like to see what you're working on. And also, I have a Facebook page. I'm going to start it with. We didn't get the group started this past weekend. But I have a Facebook page. You are welcome to put pictures of your finished objects or your WIPs on the page. And if Facebook does not allow you to put objects, I'm not quite sure how Facebook works. I'm going to be starting a group, and you are welcome to put pictures of your finished objects. It's usually Thursday this phone lays off the hook. You are welcome to post pictures in the group, and I should have that up hopefully by the week. Lord knows. We talk about social media. too much social media. I'm trying because I want to see what everybody's doing and what you're using and where you got the yarn and why you picked the yarn you're using. So thank you, each and every one. I appreciate you. Those Friday, I will see you Friday. Please join me over at Granny D's for a VJ raid. Wear your mask. Use your social distancing. I want to see you all at least next Wednesday, if not this Friday. Be safe and healthy and happy. And happy crafting, everybody. Bye-bye now.